Good afternoon. My name is Kyle Doug McCall with Aspen University, and I'm presenting today on problem-based research in action and deliverance of Module 5 for Professor Laurie Gay Reagan. So what I'd like to talk about is problem-based research in action. And it was once said by Albert Zent Georgi that research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. And in our action-based research, we know that it is a collaborative approach using a simple yet powerful framework of look, think, and act. The look phase requires the gathering of data necessary to define and describe the situation, issue, problem, or opportunity, which they usually are. The think phase helps us to answer the question, what do we think is going on here, or what should be or could be going on here? Much analysis takes place in this stage of the study. The act phase guides us to put together a course of action based on our analysis of the issue, implementation of a well-designed plan, and evaluating or assessing the effectiveness of the actions that we're going to take. So today I'd like to go through an introduction to research, action research, the problem opportunity that I've stumbled upon, goals to accomplish using AR, who will be needed and who will be involved, and what primary obstacles and how will we circumvent them. There's always obstacles to success, and we'll talk a little bit about that. The appropriate solution or intervention and implementation will describe that plan in detail. And finally, we'll summarize for you what we've gone through today. Now, information technology can be a blessing or a curse, and I want to thank Nicole Robinson, one of my classmates and colleagues, for the idea to approach this. The use of technology versus efficiency, organizational IT infrastructure, leadership technology, and the misuse of technology. Our global economy and business interests have generated the continuing need for updates in technology almost on a daily basis. Organizations over the past 2 decades have expanded their C-level of officers to include a CIO, Chief Information Officer, and to lead their IS&T programs throughout the organization. Many times today, a global organization at that. Technology can be used widely as a blessing, or our efforts may be wasted as illustrated in a curse. Technology is meant to improve efficiency, reduce time to market, reduce costs, and thereby can also improve the bottom line. Now, the goals to accomplish using action research in the area of technology that I've defined are identifying the issues completely with the IT infrastructure. Are the technology platforms and programs delivering what they're intended to deliver to the organization? Sometimes they do, sometimes they do not. Are the current versions kept up to date? That's reviewing the existing technology. We know that every day software companies come out with new versions, new programs, and new platforms. So relying on those, we must keep up with the technology. And are there underlying issues in IT infrastructure such as training and development? Technology doesn't just happen. We have to lead people to the technology as well. And self-protective leadership, self-centered and status conscious. We have leaders who sometimes have a favorite program or favorite platform. However, we have to constantly keep in view what our customers and clients and end users are using to make sure we're staying in touch with the business. And executive sponsorship is vital to the AR when it comes, or action research studies, when it comes to technology. Technology is one of the most important things in our business. So when we look at it, involving all the stakeholders is important in conducting action research. We have our IS&T leadership, we have technology order procurement, we have principal technology users, we've got front-end users, then we have back-end users, and the users of the systems, and also we must consider external users. So involving the stakeholders is vital. The IS&T leadership team has to be highly involved in our strategic objectives when it comes to technology. The principal users of the business: finance, vendor management, payroll, employee health and safety, building management systems technology, and just everything that supports our organization. Those on the back end of the technology, such as accounts receivable, accounts payable, contract management, must also be included, not to dismiss our external clients who we do business with on a day-to-day basis. We have several organizations who rely on our technology to create these efficient interactions and also between organizations. Now, when we think of technology, it can facilitate or inhibit leadership. And this is what Nicole brought up in one of her papers. So we take a deeper look at the technologies in use, and we have to give international considerations. What technology is a must-have between us and our clients and our internal workings? What's a nice to have, and what can we live without? Technology is an expense and a heavy cost to the organization, so it must be done with some grace. Internal considerations: languages and translations. I work for the third global company I've been with now, and in the organization I'm with now, we translate into nearly 80 different languages. So program platforms are driven by clients, contractors, regulatory bodies. We mustn't forget that. So our IT platforms have to be compliant with regulatory issues as well. Now, what we use is for IS&T governance, which is also very vital. We have a regional leadership committee that is made up of IS&T leaders around the globe within our organization. They have to be in sync all the time. They have to be able to look at the next wave of what's needed, badly needed in our organization, how that supports our client base and our internal workings. So when we think of finding the appropriate solution or intervention, when we think in terms of action research, we have the look, think, and act. And this is just what I came up with, sort of a matrix of things, some of the things, not all of the things that need to be looked at. There can be many. So we'll utilize the look, think, and act model that Stringer in 2014 proposed to plan a comprehensive action research study around the technology needs, requirements, effectiveness of our IS&T internal program. Now, look, think, and act AR study works in an iterative manner. So, some of these processes and programs we may go over and over again. And that's part of the act, determining if a next iterative cycle or portion of a cycle is really needed. And it can get confusing in what is included in each phase of think, look, act. So there has to be a constant review, has to be, in order to stay abreast of anything that might have been missed. Now, as we determine the vision for the study, these are the plan for the implementation that I've thought about, is determining what that vision is. We need to have expert sponsorship at the executive level. Someone must begin the study by first determining if there is a problem or problems and how important they are to justify the study. Then we need to establish a mission, vision, and values for the study, get it in front of some executive sponsors, and then we need to ensure we have the commensurate authority and sponsorship behind the study to get it done. Providing what the study is, why the study is necessary for the sponsors, and then we have to provide the initial stakeholders. The stakeholder group should include everybody that's engaged in the activity, or with, in this case, the technology and the programs. So participatory action research approach can increase the understanding of our contextual issues, and therefore we must have intimate knowledge involved. So that's some of your stakeholders, not just the users of the technology, but the people who understand why we need the technology, what it's engaged in, and how we're going to use it. And we have to determine an appropriate timeline for the study. Sometimes it's not exact. Sometimes there are iterations that require more study and some change management control involved with it. But we review the need for further actions and present the results of the action study research. And as we present these, we make the decision and have a discussion if the desired outcomes have been met. So in summary, some of the things I'd like to talk about under the look, think, and act phases. An action research study is a collaborative approach, as we said, using a simple yet powerful framework. It includes all of the stakeholders that are necessary. It looks at the phase requirements for gathering the necessary data and defines and describes the situation, issue, problem, how we're going to study it. And also the act phase puts us in together with a course of action predicated on our analysis of the issue, implementation of a well-designed plan, and evaluating or assessing the effectiveness of those actions that were taken. Now, in conducting this video, I found a number of resources that I fell back on. One being Stringer, from 2014. We have Buchholz, we have Sendall, Stamopoulos, and also the Brainy quote came from a online www.brainyquote.com. So I'd like to thank you, Dr. Laurie Reagan, for this opportunity to present to you and to the class. I'd like to thank Nicole Robinson for the opportunity to utilize her suggestion. Thank you all.